Hello, my name is Carla from Miami. Please like and subscribe. When I was 5 years old, my astronaut dad went to space and never returned. His colleagues searched for him for weeks until they finally told us that he was gone for good. After that, I grew up with my famous fashionista mom who styled celebrities. As you'd expect, I picked up fashion and makeup skills at a very young age. Mom thought I would be a fashionista like her, until one day she walked in on me sitting on a pile of Dad's books, reading to my dolls.
Sweetheart, you can actually read that book?
Yes, I can, Mom. Dad used to teach me. A few days later, Mom put together a mini library for me, but I finished reading all the children's books there within no time. In school, it didn't take long for my teachers to realize that I was kind of a genius. And by the time I was in 7th grade, I could solve senior year level math problems within minutes. It was kind of my superpower. As I grew older, I became prettier, much to Mom's delight. She thought for sure I had a future in modeling, but I told her I had other plans.
What plans? What could be better than becoming a famous model?
I want to be just like Dad.
But you're so pretty, you don't have to kill yourself studying.
Mom bought me all the designer outfits she could find, hoping I'd see what I was missing. That only made me the most stylish nerd at school. I finally graduated high school with perfect scores and got into the most prestigious university in the United States. Only the best of the best were accepted there, and I was one of them. I spent hours getting ready for my first day of class at the university. I finally settled on an outfit, and as I hurried to class, I realized I was a few minutes late. Not exactly how I wanted to start my first day. When I walked in, my designer heels click-clacked on the auditorium floor. I looked for the nearest seat, and as I went to sit, someone stuck their leg out and I tripped and fell into my seat, my books landing on the floor. Hey! What's your problem?
Are you lost, Barbie? This is not the Barbie dollhouse. Fashion school's that way.
The whole auditorium burst out laughing. Right, I had forgotten that outside of my high school, everyone saw me for only my looks. A dumb blonde who couldn't possibly be anything more than a brainless doll face.
Settle down, everyone. Girl in pink, it's good for you to join us. Now find a seat and let's continue. Brody, pick on someone your own size.
Great, even the professor was making fun of me.
Welcome, everyone, and congratulations. If you are sitting here right now, it means that you are among the best in this country. In fact, one of you here earned the highest score in the history of the SATs.
By now, everyone was looking around, whispering to each other about who it could be.
Well, whoever it is, it's definitely not Barbie over here.
Seriously, what was his problem? I was about to say something when the girl seated next to him turned to me and handed me some of my books.
Don't mind this jerk. He thinks he's the only one who deserves to be here.
Thanks.
Joan.
Hi, I'm Carla. She smiled at me and then kicked Brody's seat, almost tipping him over. We both burst out laughing. By the end of the week, Joan had stopped so many attacks from Brody that I lost count. She was sort of my protector. One afternoon, she invited me to watch her as she tried out for the university swimming team. I was so excited, but as soon as I sat down, a shadow blocked my view. I looked up to see Brody in nothing but tiny swim shorts. He'd just gotten out of the pool and was dripping water all over my shoes. Ugh, you again? Move, you're blocking my view.
You don't belong here.
And who are you to judge that? You don't know anything about me.
Let me guess, your parents' money got you here, right?
It was almost Joan's turn to swim, so I stood up and walked past Brody trying to get a better view of the pool. And guess what he did? He tripped me. Again! I went down screaming, and when I tried to get up, I slipped and fell into the pool, face first. I splattered around the pool, trying to find anything I could hold on to. Help! I can't swim! A few seconds later, someone grabbed me and pulled me out of the pool. As soon as I saw who it was, I went ballistic. Stay away from me! Don't you dare come near me ever again!
I am so sorry, Carla. I didn't know.
Just then, Joan ran towards us. She took one look at my drenched clothes and turned to Brody.
You jerk!
Without warning, she slapped Brody across his face. I shot to my feet and grabbed her before she could slap him a second time. Brody stormed away, while Joan helped me dry off before she got called to the lineup. She won her round of the tryouts, and when she got out of the water, I hugged her. I can't believe how good you are! You can easily get into the Olympics!
Thanks. Now, let's get out of here. Any plans for this evening?
How about we go to my room and order pizza to celebrate your win? My treat.
Sounds perfect.
A few hours later, Joan and I were sitting on my dorm room bed, a large pizza between us, when someone knocked on my door. I answered it only to find Brody standing there. What are you doing here? How did you even find my room?
Carla, I'm really sorry.
Oh, so it's not Barbie now?
I'm sorry for calling you that, but I'm here because of what happened earlier. When you said you couldn't swim, I felt so guilty.
Leave.
Before he could say anything else, Joan slammed the door in his face, then turned to me.
Oh my god, you can't swim? You must have been terrified.
Joan sounded so worried, and I enjoyed the attention, but I had to tell her the truth. I have to tell you something.
Sure, what is it?
I can swim.
What? But Brody just said...
I know. I just said that to mess with him after he tripped me and I fell into the pool. I expected her to be mad at me, but instead she burst out laughing.
I underestimated you. You're evil. Served him right, though. He was a jerk for tripping you again.
We spent the rest of the night talking and laughing. I looked forward to the next class because I knew Brody was not going to be mean to me ever again. Or so I thought. When Joan and I walked into class a few days later, a bunch of students were gathered around my seat. As soon as they saw us, they walked in different directions, some laughing. That's when I saw it. My usual seat was painted pink, and the word Barbie was written on it in large gold letters. I immediately looked at Brody, and he was trying so hard not to burst out laughing. Brody, I know you did this! I thought you said you were sorry!
That was before I found out you lied to me about not being able to swim.
I turned to Joan. You told him?
What? No way.
Then how did he know?
I overheard you after your girlfriend slammed the door in my face.
Of course he had eavesdropped. I wanted to tell him that Joan wasn't my girlfriend. I wished she could be, but I hadn't gathered the courage to ask her yet.
Keep your big ears out of your business.
Joan was standing toe-to-toe with Brody, and I was so sure she was going to tackle him when the professor walked in. He went straight to the whiteboard and wrote a math equation.
This is one of the most complex math equations. I'd like volunteers to solve it. First one to solve it gets free dinner at a restaurant of their choice.
Brody raised his hand immediately.
I'll do it, and I'd like Barbie to do it too.
What? I didn't raise my hand.
Are you scared that I'll beat you? Come on, I thought you'd jump at the opportunity to prove that you're not just a pretty face.
Everyone stared at me, waiting for my answer.
You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Carla.
I know, but I need to do this. I walked to the board and stood next to a smirking Brody. The professor set up a timer for us as Brody and I took a marker and started writing on the board. A few minutes later, I stepped away from the board. I'm done! The professor looked at my work and verified that I had gotten the answer right.
And she did it in record-breaking time, too.
Everybody gasped and clapped. Brody was so flustered that I'd finished before him and got it right that he dropped his marker. The professor looked at Brody's work, and not only had he not finished solving his equation, the formulas he was using were all wrong as well. He went back to his seat, head bowed and face red. When I got to my seat, Joan launched herself at me, hugging me and squealing.
That was amazing!
Before I could say anything, she kissed me and hoots and cheers erupted all around us. I closed my eyes and kissed her back. I couldn't believe this was happening. I had just been kissed for the first time, and by a girl. Best feeling ever. A few seconds later, the professor cleared his throat and brought us back to Earth.
All right, well, that's enough excitement for the day. Take your seats, please.
I leaned into Joan and whispered, "To be continued?"
You bet.
I barely heard anything the professor said after that. I was over the moon and had a stupid grin on my face while Brody scowled. The next few days were pure bliss, as Joan and I spent every moment together. I took her to her favorite restaurant for the professor's reward dinner, and we had a great time. Joan was very athletic and was on almost every university sports team. One afternoon, I went to watch her play basketball. I walked into the court to find her and her teammates standing by the sidelines. Why aren't you guys playing yet?
Brody and his buddies won't leave. We've been waiting for over 30 minutes. I think we should just... Carla, watch out!
I reacted just in time to catch a ball that Brody had thrown my way. If it wasn't for my quick reflexes, I'd have gotten a broken nose. Are you crazy?
Nice catch, Blondie. Now, could I have my ball back?
No, the girls have a right to play too. It's time for you guys to leave.
Oh, so you're also a feminist? Great. Tell you what, the guys and I will leave if you play against me and win.
Joan and I looked at each other, and she shook her head.
You don't have to do this. The girls and I can leave. Plus, you're in a skirt.
No way I'm letting him win.
Get ready to lose, sweetheart.
I'm not your sweetheart. The game got heated as Brody and I shot hoop after hoop, none of us losing to the other. Brody and his buddies were beginning to get frustrated, and I knew it was time to make my special move. When I had the ball, I dribbled and charged towards the hoop, and then jumped as high as I could, leaping towards the hoop. Everyone held their breath as I made the most perfect slam dunk. Joan and her teammates went wild, and before I knew it, she was in the court hugging me and lifting me up. After that, Brody made no scores and he left the court hurriedly, his buddies close behind.
Oh my god, did you see the pathetic look on his face?
Enjoy the court, girls. Brody stayed out of my way after that, until one Saturday when the boys' basketball team won a match against their biggest rivals.
Party at our dorm this evening. Everyone is welcome, even you, Barbie.
Fresh cheers erupted as everyone jumped in joy. Brody was known for his parties. Joan and I agreed to meet at the party that evening. When I arrived, I called her, but she didn't pick up, so I decided to go inside and look for her. The place was packed and loud music blared.
Hey, looking for your girlfriend? She's in there with Brody.
I didn't like the sound of that, so I hurried into the room. As soon as I walked in, my heart stopped. Brody and Joan were there, but that's not what stopped my heart. What shook me to my core was the fact that they were kissing. What the heck is going on here? Brody turned to me, an evil smile on his face, while Joan suddenly pushed him and darted to my side.
What did it look like? Your girlfriend just kissed me.
That's a lie. I came in here to return your call, and he followed me, then tried to kiss me. Please believe me.
I turned to Joan and hugged her. Of course I believe you. Then I looked at Brody in anger. Joan, let's get out of here. This place stinks anyway. I took my girlfriend's hand and we walked out of there smiling. During our final math class for the semester, the professor walked in, a smile on his face.
At the beginning of the semester, I announced that one of you scored the highest SAT score in the history of SATs. Can anyone guess who that is?
I listened as everyone whispered and wondered who the top student was.
I bet it's Brody. He's pretty smart.
What about Carla? She solved the math equation pretty quick.
No way, she just got lucky.
I bet that's what everyone thought. I could fly a rocket to the moon and they'd still think I was just a dumb blonde. So unfair.
For those of you who guessed Carla, you're right.
Everyone went silent, except for Brody.
What? No way. That's enough, Brody. All semester I've watched you harass Carla. The only reason I didn't kick you out of this class is because she asked me not to, and assured me she could handle your attempts at humiliating her. Now what do you have to say for yourself?
All eyes were on Brody, and just as he was about to speak, I stood up. Thanks, Professor. I know that most of you are surprised that a girl who looks like me could have the highest score, but I wanted to tell you that I don't have to dress down just because I'm smart. There's absolutely no problem if I dress and look like a Barbie and still beat you at math. And you know what, Brody? I actually love my pink seat. As everyone cheered, Brody stood up. I expected him to say something mean, but he surprised everyone.
Congratulations, Carla. And I'm sorry I stereotyped you like that. It was very wrong of me.
I stared up at the ceiling.
What are you doing?
Waiting to see pigs fly.
Haha, she's funny too. Seriously though, I'm really sorry. Truth is, I was mean because I like you.
Huh?
Well, I have a little crush on you.
That's not an excuse to be a jerk, Brody. Plus, Carla is my girlfriend now, so walk away. And next time you try to kiss me, I'll punch you right in the face.
Joan took my hand and Brody took a step back. His hands lifted in surrender.
Whoa, no need for violence.
Joan and I laughed. See you around, Brody. I look forward to beating you at math and basketball next semester.
It's on.
Hi, my name is Bridget and I am from New York. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. When I was born, my dad used to take me to the aquarium all the time because that's where he worked as a marine biologist. Hanging out in Dad's aquarium made me fall in love with all the animals. And one day when I was around 7 years old, my dad took me into the water to meet Tulip. She was a dolphin, and she touched my nose with her long mouth.
Dad, I think she likes me.
I think so too, sweetie.
You know, when I grow up, I want to be just like you.
I loved my dad so much. I also had a great mom too, but she was always out working since she was a top lawyer in the country. My life was perfect until I came home from school one day and found my mom crying. What's wrong, Mom?
Bridget, I don't think your dad is coming back.
What do you mean he's not coming back?
His job called and they sent out some lifeguards to search for research crew they sent out at sea, and they can't find him.
Mom broke down again, and I wanted to comfort her, but I was also breaking down. So I ran to my room and turned on my rock music up loud. This was my way of ignoring the facts. 2 years went by, and my dad still never returned. And I became the geek who covered her face with her hair and walked around with a hoodie and books. And then, in my senior year, the school wanted to take us on a 1-week trip to the Atlantic Ocean, but my mom refused to let me go.
I'm sorry, Bridget. I already lost your father to the ocean, and I'm not losing you too.
But Mom, this is my opportunity to explore the best sea creatures in the world. Mom stood her ground and stuck to her decision, but when I told my biology teacher, Mrs. Jam, she immediately came to my house since I was her top student and she adored me to bits.
Hi, ma'am. I came to speak to you about Bridget. If it's about that trip to the Atlantic Ocean, my answer is no.
Mrs. Jam was a very persistent person, and somehow she managed to convince my mom. I was so excited! The last time I felt this happy was when Dad took me camping.
Please stay safe.
I will, Mom. She hugged me tightly and almost didn't let go. The ship that we sailed on was huge, and on the first night, the kids in my school organized a party on the boat. I didn't have many friends, so I sat by myself next to the edge of the ship, reading a book, until suddenly I spotted a dolphin. Hey there, little guy. I leaned over to touch him, and then all of a sudden I toppled over, almost falling into the sea, until the hottest guy in school caught me and pulled me up. His name was Shane, and this was my first time being this close to him.
Wow. What were you doing at the edge of the boat?
I saw a dolphin that I couldn't miss.
Haha, okay, that's cool. Just don't fall in again unless you want to be swimming with the dolphins tonight. And how come you're out here alone when everybody is having a good time at the party?
I just wanted some fresh air. A gush of breeze lifted my hair from my face.
Wow, you must be a Vogue model.
My face turned red, blushing at what he said. And then this girl, Jessica, approached us. She was one of the popular cheerleading girls at school with a massive attitude.
There you are. I've been looking everywhere for you.
She clung on to Shane and smirked at me.
What are you doing with her?
He wanted to talk to me. Do you have a problem with that?
Well, yeah. He is my boyfriend.
Well, maybe you should write your name on his forehead then. That way we will all know that he belongs to you. Shane looked at me, speechless. I was very quiet in school, but not stupid. When the snobby girls gave me an attitude, I gave it right back. After that scene, the teachers called it a timeout, which meant we all had to go to bed. And while we were fast asleep, there was a sudden bang, and then screaming.
Everyone, we need to get off the ship. The ship is sinking.
When I put my feet on the floor, there was already a puddle of water. I ran with all the other kids and we got onto a lifeboat and rowed the whole night until we came to an isolated island.
Oh my gosh, my hair is so damaged.
Jessica and her crew of cheerleaders looked like recycled Barbie dolls without their makeup. And then Shane suddenly appeared in front of me.
You still look the same. I guess natural beauty pays off in the end.
Shane, come here. I need you.
Jessica was such a control freak. She wanted Shane to hug her because she felt emotional, and him just popping up and randomly calling me beautiful was also a little strange, but I wasn't complaining. I looked up at the sky and saw that the clouds were heavy, and I remembered my dad showing me how to build shelter with banana leaves and sticks. And when I started gathering the sticks and leaves together, Jessica started mocking me.
What on earth are you doing?
Building shelter. Do you want to help?
I would never do something so degrading like that. Because I'm a lady and ladies like me could never do a maid's job.
So we're stuck out here in the middle of nowhere, and all you can think of is your lady self. I guess you're not only selfish, but also very dumb.
Ha! How dare you? It's not like we're going to stay here forever. Oh wait, I forgot you finally made it home, where you can be all alone and live amongst the sea creatures. You're such a geek.
All her friends laughed. Then Mrs. Jam gave me a hand and Shane joined in.
This is actually a bright idea because it looks like a storm is caving in.
After we built the shelter, it didn't take long for it to start pouring down, and Jessica and her minions ran to the shelter. Wow! Looks like my geeky little shelter is now useful! Jessica smirked at me. Then she stood next to Shane, pulled him closer to her, and kissed him madly. A part of me did feel jealous, which I didn't understand since she was her boyfriend after all. Later that night, as we fell asleep, I had this strange dream about my dad. And then suddenly, I woke up and heard someone shouting in the woods. I bravely got up to see what it was, and then I screamed when someone touched my shoulder. Ah! Oh my gosh, Shane! What are you doing here?
I saw you get up. What are you doing out here?
I heard someone shouting.